Hello everyone, this is Maria and welcome to my YouTube channel Business Analysis, easy to use. In today's session we are going to discuss what is a business analysis. So without further ado, let's get started with today's agenda. We will begin this session by a discussion about what is the business analysis. Next, we will answer the question, what do you do in a business analysis? Post that, we will take a look at how do you perform business analysis. Moving on, we'll discuss who does business analysis. After that, we consider that what skills should business analyst have. Next, we will answer the question, what technical tools does business analyst use? Last but not least part of our discussion, their concept. We discuss about key terms of the business analysis, knowledge areas, and finally we'll end this session by talking about stakeholders. Business analysis become an integral part of our life. World is rapidly developing. Market needs endless support for determining new requirement for business, update on business change, and a change of the product's vector. All of these things require business analysis. What is a business analysis? This is the practice of enabling change in enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. Let's dig a little deeper and understand what do you do in a business analysis. Business analysis is the application of knowledge skills, tools and techniques to determine problems and identify business needs, recommend change and provide solutions that produce value for the stakeholders, elicit, document, and manage requirement, facilitate the successful implementation of the product, service, feature, technical enhancement, or a result of the program project. Let's delve into a little more detail and understand how do you perform business analysis. The first step is the groundwork for a project is covered. Whether a project is a brand new or existing, it's crucial for the business analyst to gather a significant amount of the background information on the project. They are the conditions of the project that need to be determined at this stage. The first condition, what domain is the project under? The second condition, determine various circumstances and cases that could potentially affect the business strategy for the project. You cannot miss this part if you really to deeply understand your future project. Next step is identify stakeholders. The stakeholders on the project are the ones who make decisions and assign off on requirements and priorities. The third step is discover business objectives. Establishing the business strategy and objectives and putting them on the paper will help to the business analyst and the project manager stay focused on the vision and make course correction along the way. It will also help during scope definition. Before getting too deep into the project, ask why the project is needed helps narrow down the business objectives. After that, we evaluate options. To achieve the objective, it's important to determine the critical path among the various options available. Here are the steps involved in determining the best path. Identify options. Brainstorming and a focus group meeting help determine various options. Post that, we scope definition. Please pay attention that they need to divide our scope for 2 groups, in scope and out of scope, our developments, integration, and etc. Next step is to create a plan. This step requires the business analyst to clarify requirements to the business owner and get that okay to deliver them to the development team. After that, implementation through CDLC. CDLC is a software development lifecycle. A business analyst is involved in the technical implementation of requirement to ensure that everything aligns, reviewing the technical deliverables, feedback from development team, tasks, manage changes, and etc. And the last part is the project track. This phase sets the tone for the entire development project, so it's crucial to flesh it out as much as possible. Moving on to the second part of our discussion. Who is a business analyst? This is a person who supports, help, and analyze company processes, products, services, and systems. Let's understand the skill set and expertise needed for a business analyst. Analyst role. Anyone performing business analyst activities on the programs and the products should have analytical skills, decision-making, system thinking, cultural awareness, communication skills, problem-solving, leadership skills, learning skills, negotiation skills, business and industry knowledge, data visualization, collaboration and teamwork, critical thinking, facilitation, documentation, and adaptability. Let's consider business analyst tools which help us in our work. I define it into the following categories: requirement management, project management, ERP, modeling and diagramming, wireframing, collaboration and communication, CRM, ETL, ELT, data visualization. So, we are going to review in detail each one of these business analytical tools. Requirement management is defining in the possible terms what exactly is needed from and for stakeholders, including documenting, analyzing, tracking, prioritizing, and communication those requirements. Requirement management software is designed to simplify all the aspects of this task, keeping things organized and, most importantly, making sure nothing is overlooked. In the slide, you see the kind of apps you can use for requirement management. Project management. Business analysis is typically an endeavor that strives to achieve its goals within a specified time frame, one that works on a discrete project that is as opposed to one that's ongoing. Project management is simply the skill of seeing a project through to successful completion on the schedule and on budget given its constraints. ERP. Getting into the focus of the business analyst work itself, enterprise resource planning is the management of what and how a business does what it does. It meant processes, the oversight of how the processes unfold, and typically the technology that enables and meditates them. ERP software is the category of tools used to gather and manage the business data at the heart of the business analyst. Modeling and diagramming. Model means not only visual or virtual models of things. It is a tangible structure but abstract concept as well like decision. Wireframing. Anytime structure is involved, the user experience of the piece of software, the delivery schedule for a project, the site map of the website, corporate processes architecture, a wireframe can help to define and clarify things. In the business analysis, wireframing is often used to create software prototypes or develop code architecture during pre-production. Collaboration and communication. Business analysts almost by definition work with various groups of the people, stakeholders from different organizations and different departments within organization. Emails great, but for intra-group collaboration, especially when many hands are making change to a single document or a model, additional tools often come into play. CRM. In the online world, tracking customer coming and going and keeping them happy is a job into itself. CRM software help automate this interaction and more importantly logs data that can provide business analysts with incredibly valuable insight into the minds of their customers. ETL and ELT. This thing being extracted, transformed and loaded in this case as a data. ETL software is used to take a data from the business myriad sources for producing it, prepare it and move it into a data warehouse where it can be used to generate analytics. In ELT, the data already loaded into the warehouse is transformed into a more usable form. Data visualization. Data visualization software is an important tool for data analysts for all stripes, not only for communication but also for helping to make sense of the patterns in data once they are being identified. Let's move on to understanding the key concept related to a business analysis. What will be used frequently in the key terms in the business analysis, understanding what are the main areas in the business analysis, and finally understanding who is the key stakeholders in the business analysis domain. Key terms. Business analysis information. Broad and diverse sets of information that BA analyze, transform and report. For example, elicitation results, functional and non-functional requirements, solution design, change strategy. Design is a usable representation of a solution. Design focuses on understanding how value might be realized by a solution if it's built. Enterprise. An enterprise is a system of one or more organizations and the solution they use to pursue a shared set of common goals. The solution can be processes, tools, or information. Organization. An autonomous group of the people under the management of a single individual or board that works towards common goals and objectives. Plan. A plan is a proposal for doing or achieving something. Plan describes a set of events, the dependencies among the events, the expected sequences, the schedule, the result or outcomes, the material and resource needed, and the stakeholders involved. Requirement. Requirement is a usable representation of a need. Requirement focuses on understanding what kind of value could be delivered if a requirement is fulfilled. Risk. Risk is the effect of uncertainty or the value of the change, a solution, or the enterprise. Knowledge areas represents areas of the specific business analysis expertise and define that a practitioner or the business analysis needs to understand, and tasks a practitioner must be able to perform. There are 6 knowledge areas in the field of the business analysis. Business analysis planning and monitoring. This area describes the task that business analysts perform to organize and coordinate effort of the business analyst and stakeholders. Elicitation and collaboration. This describes the task that business analysts perform to prepare for and conduct elicitation activities and confirm the result obtained. It also describes the communication with stakeholders once the business analyst information is assembled and the ongoing collaboration with them throughout the business analysis activities. Requirement lifecycle management. This describes the task that business analysts perform in order to manage and maintain requirement and design information from inception to retirement. This task describes establishing meaningful relationship between related requirement and designs, and assessing, analyzing, and gaining consensus on proposed change to requirement and design. Strategy analysis. This describes the business analysis work that must be performed to collaboration with the stakeholder in order to identify a need of strategic or tactical importance, enable the enterprise to develop an effective strategy based on this requirement, plan how it will be implemented, integrate it into the existing processes, communicate it clearly within the organization, implement it according to plan, monitor its effectiveness over time, keep track of any change required from stakeholder, business partner, customers, or government agencies. Requirement analysis and design definition. This knowledge area describes the tasks that are performed by business analysts in order to structure and organize requirements that they discovered during elicitation activities. It also highlights the tasks that provide knowledge on the specification and the model requirement and design, validate and verify information, identify solution options that meet business needs, and estimate the potential value that could be realized for each solution option. Solution evaluation. This is the last knowledge area of the business analysis. It describes the task that business analysts perform to assess the performance of and the value delivered by a solution in the use by enterprise and to recommend removal of the barriers of constraint that prevent the full realization of the value. Last but not least part of our discussion, the stakeholders and the type of stakeholders. Who is a stakeholder? Individual and organization who are actively involved in the project, or those interests may be positively or negatively affected as a result of the project execution or successful project completion. I divided stakeholders into 2 groups, external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. External stakeholders are part of the business stakeholders who are outside the organization. External stakeholders comprise of customer, sponsor, regulator, end user, supplier, local communities, government agencies, developer, its outsourcing part. Internal stakeholders are people whose interest in the company comes through a direct relationship, such as employment, ownership, or investment, for example. Internal stakeholders comprise of business analyst, system analyst, process analyst, functional analyst, project owner, domain subject matter expert, product manager, implementation subject matter expert, operational support, project manager, tester, developer, program manager, sponsor, architecture, UI and UX designer. This completes our high-level understanding of the business analysis domain. In the next video, we will move on to deepen steps of performing business analysis. See you soon and thank you for your watching.